Russia is reeling tonight, facing a crisis on two fronts, nature and a determined adversary. From the icy north to the contested south, the lights are going out, widespread blackouts are crippling cities and critical infrastructure. This is more than a power outage. It's a nation's vulnerabilities exposed. A powerful Arctic storm has slammed into the north, while Ukraine launches precise strikes on the energy grid. The timing is no accident. It's a calculated escalation in a brutal war. In the north, cities are frozen in darkness, life at a standstill. In the south, Ukrainian drones strike with chilling accuracy. This dual crisis is a perfect storm of chaos, testing Russia's ability to respond. Moscow scrambles to control the narrative, but reality tells a different story. Russia's energy system and defense network are showing critical gaps. Ukraine is striking deep inside Russian territory, targeting the systems that power both war and society. These attacks are strategic, designed for maximum disruption. The combination of military strikes and natural disaster has caused cascading failures. Power plants hit, substations damaged, transmission lines down. Millions of Russians face a cold, dark winter. The Kremlin faces a monumental challenge. The crisis raises serious questions about Russia's infrastructure resilience and highlights Ukraine's evolving strategy. This is more than a temporary setback. It's a strategic blow with long-lasting consequences. As of January 31, 2026, the full extent of the damage is still being assessed. But one thing is clear. The war has entered a new, dangerous phase. Russia is under pressure like never before, fighting on two damaging fronts. The world is watching as Russia's strength is tested. The dual crisis has shattered the illusion of invulnerability. Ukraine has shown it can exploit Russia's weaknesses. The blackout is not just darkness, it's a turning point. The stakes have never been higher. Russia's response in the coming days will shape the future of the conflict. The nation stands at a crossroads, its power, literal and figurative, under siege. The war, and Russia itself, may never be the same. Ukraine's campaign against Russia's energy infrastructure is relentless and evolving. For months, Kyiv has targeted oil refineries, fuel depots, and power stations deep inside Russian territory. The goal: disrupt the economy, hamper military logistics, and bring the war home to ordinary Russians. Long-range drones and advanced weaponry are hitting targets once thought safe. Each strike is carefully planned for maximum strategic value. Attacks come in waves, overwhelming Russian air defenses. The results: fuel shortages, disrupted supply chains, and resources diverted to defense. This energy war is Ukraine's way to level the playing field against a larger adversary. The psychological impact is profound. War is no longer distant for Russians. Blackouts and heating failures are daily reminders of conflict. Ukraine is undermining the Kremlin's narrative of normalcy. The latest wave of attacks is the most ambitious yet, showing improved intelligence and targeting. Ukraine coordinates strikes with events like the Arctic storm to maximize impact. The strategy is dynamic, constantly adapting to the war's changing circumstances. Ukraine is sending a clear message: it will not back down. The war is now felt in Russian homes, not just on the front lines. Ukraine's resolve and reach are on full display. The Kremlin's ability to protect its people is in question. Every blackout is a blow to Russian confidence. Ukraine's campaign is reshaping the conflict. The energy war is far from over. Russia must now defend not just its borders, but its very way of life. The cost of aggression is rising, and Ukraine is making sure of it. As Ukraine planned its strikes, nature unleashed its own assault. A historic Arctic storm swept across Russia's north, bringing hurricane-force winds, heavy snow, and bone-chilling cold. The Kola Peninsula, used to harsh winters, was overwhelmed. Power lines and transmission towers collapsed under ice and wind. Entire cities and towns plunged into darkness. The storm created an ice event. Freezing rain coated everything, snapping cables and toppling structures. Transportation was paralyzed. Roads impassable. Airports closed. Emergency crews struggled to reach damaged infrastructure. The relentless storm buried the region under snow and ice for days. The power grid, essential for Arctic life, proved vulnerable. The disaster exposed the fragility of critical infrastructure. The Kremlin's preparedness was called into question. Was the grid maintained? Were contingency plans in place? For those trapped in the frozen darkness, these questions were urgent. The storm's fury was a humbling blow. Nature, indifferent to politics, had paralyzed a strategic region. The blackout was not just inconvenient, it was life-threatening. The Arctic storm set the stage for a crisis no enemy could have engineered alone. Russia's northern stronghold was brought to its knees by the elements. The nation's vulnerabilities were laid bare for all to see. The storm's impact hit hardest in Murmansk and Severomorsk. Murmansk, the world's largest Arctic city, and Severomorsk, home to the Northern Fleet, were plunged into darkness. Power was lost to homes, businesses, and military installations. The blackout was near total, caused by cascading failures in high-voltage lines. Heating systems failed, water pumps stopped, and life ground to a halt. In the Arctic, a sustained outage is a life-threatening emergency. Residents faced freezing apartments and desperate conditions. Severomorsk's blackout was even more critical. This is the headquarters of Russia's nuclear-armed fleet. Naval bases lost shore power, forced to rely on limited backup generators. The safety and security of nuclear assets were suddenly in question. The Northern Fleet, Russia's Arctic power projection, was hobbled. Command and control systems were disrupted, ships and submarines were left vulnerable. The blackout was a strategic disaster, paralyzing Russia's key military force. The storm did what no enemy could. It neutralized the Northern Fleet without a shot fired. The region's importance cannot be overstated. The blackout exposed the fragility of Russia's Arctic defense. The crisis at the heart of Russia's military posture was undeniable. The storm's aftermath left the Kremlin scrambling. The world saw a superpower's strategic core brought to a standstill. The Arctic blackout was a warning. Even the mightiest can be brought low by nature. Ukraine watched the Arctic crisis unfold and seized the moment. With Russia's emergency services stretched thin, Ukraine saw an opening in the south. The timing was perfect for a coordinated strike. Ukraine didn't cause the blackout, but it exploited the chaos masterfully. Multiple waves of long-range drones targeted key energy facilities deep inside Russia. The goal: create a second crisis, stretch Russian resources, and show nowhere is safe. Strikes were timed to hit as Russia focused on the storm, maximizing confusion. Drones flew complex routes, evading radar and slipping through defense gaps. The attacks were a textbook case of opportunistic warfare. Ukraine's planners linked a weather event in the Arctic to a military operation in the south. The result: a decisive advantage on the battlefield. Ukraine proved it could turn Russian vulnerability into strength. The operation showcased Ukraine's growing sophistication. The chaos in Russia was now a weapon in Ukraine's hands. As the north froze, the south erupted in fire. Ukraine's drone attacks targeted energy facilities in key Russian regions. Belgorod was hit hard. Drones struck a major substation, plunging the city into darkness. Taganrog, an industrial and military hub, saw its thermal power plant set ablaze. Rolling blackouts rippled across the region. In Orel, far from the border, another substation was hit, proof of Ukraine's expanding reach. The psychological impact was profound. No city felt safe. Attacks extended into occupied Donetsk and Luhansk, disrupting Russian military logistics. Power cuts hampered both civilians and military units. The strikes were part of a single, coordinated operation. Drone swarms overwhelmed air defenses, many reached their targets. The result: a patchwork of blackouts across southern and western Russia. Civilian life was thrown into disarray, homes cold, businesses shuttered. The attacks exposed Russia's inability to protect its vital infrastructure. Ukraine's strategy was clear: disrupt, demoralize, and degrade. The war had come home to Russia in a way not seen before. The combined impact of storm and strikes created a power crisis unseen in modern Russia. Two massive simultaneous failures, north and south, pushed the energy system to the brink. The Kola Peninsula and cities like Belgorod, Taganrog, and Orel were plunged into darkness. Millions were affected. The damage was severe and not quickly fixed. Repair crews faced extreme weather in the north, military hazards in the south. Russia's centralized grid, designed for flexibility, now revealed its weakness: cascading failures. Officials scrambled to reroute power and prevent total collapse. The storm showed a lack of resilience. The attacks exposed air defense gaps. The Kremlin's image of control was shattered. Critical military assets and millions of citizens were left exposed. The crisis revealed a fragile infrastructure, both civil and military. Russia's vulnerabilities were now impossible to ignore. The nation's strength was tested and found wanting. The energy crisis hit everyone, from civilians to the military elite. In the north, families huddled in freezing apartments, water pipes burst, and food spoiled. Authorities struggled to provide relief, overwhelmed by the scale of the disaster. In the south, blackouts disrupted daily life and fueled anxiety. Businesses closed, transport halted, and the threat of more attacks loomed. The psychological blow was immense. War was now in every home. Ukraine's strategy made the Kremlin's war impossible to ignore. For the military, the crisis was a disaster. The Northern Fleet's blackout disrupted command, maintenance, and nuclear security. A fleet without power cannot project strength. The storm neutralized a key military asset without a single shot. Power outages in the south hampered bases and logistics. Backup generators were unreliable and fuel limited. Rail networks, vital for troop movement, were crippled. The energy crisis created a logistical nightmare, degrading Russia's war effort. Russia faced a perfect storm. nature's fury, and Ukraine's precision. The crisis exposed deep vulnerabilities in energy and defense. The Arctic grid collapsed under the storm, revealing years of neglect. In the south, drones pierced Russia's vaunted air defenses. The Kremlin's image of invincibility was shattered. Ukraine's innovation and adaptability inflicted strategic pain far from the front. Economic warfare now threatens Russia's ability to sustain aggression. Ukraine has found and exploited a weak point. Russia must now repair shattered infrastructure while fighting a war. The strain on resources will be immense. The blackouts cast a long shadow over the Kremlin's war effort. Weaknesses have been exposed for all to see. Ukraine has shown it knows exactly where and how to strike.